So what are you saying? So you're back in town now. Do you stay in town for a while?
Yeah. Well, like back and forth from Toronto to London. Yeah. I'm going to be spending the night. Well, I say that. I got to wake up and go to Toronto tomorrow till Sunday, maybe Monday. Back here. It depends. It all depends
What's
where the meetings
Toronto?
are. Like what I do there?
Yeah.
Just a lot of meetings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, so, but do you have any offices there?
We rent offices
spot.
and that kind of stuff. Yeah, we utilize. It doesn't really make sense it depends. Like we have like offices here, but like our big plant's here, right?
Yeah.
So it's like where all of our op staff are. But any marketing and that kind of stuff is remote for the
Really?
most part. Yeah, because everything
Most
can be
effective right now, right?
yeah keeps costs down.
So how many days a week or out of the month are you like in the factory, kind of like basically what?
I don't really need to be in the factory now at all. Like we've got a great team in there handling it, but I like to be there. I like to work from there.
Yeah.
I don't want to get away from like my roots personally of like, because when I started the company, I was kind of making food myself.
Yeah.
And I want to maintain that.
You feel that when you walk in there.
Yeah.
100% you feel that. Like,
Yeah, like-
it's like chilled, it's genuine. Like you can tell the people that are working in there like are actually like working because they want to work there type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a vibe going on in there. 100%. 100%.
100%. I think, if, like today I was there for, probably, I don't know, maybe 10 hours, I think.
Oh, solid.
Give or
Yeah,
take,
yeah.
In one spot, just in one boardroom. I just, pull my laptop
Is it
out and I'm
going
buried
all
in there.
weekend long too?
Yeah, usually. Yeah.
Nice.
It depends. So, there's different shifts for different purposes and they're staggered. But
7 days a week.
Yeah, 7 days a week. The next phase of the business is, we've always been through like a growth phase, but like now there's a lot of other businesses that we're merging with and whatnot, and everyone will be working under one roof. So you can imagine we'll utilize like more night shifts and that kind of stuff, and the full capacity and all the square footage, right?
So is there people that deal with all that stuff individually as itself? Like,
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. Dan, Henry, and the team. Those guys.
That's the growth, right? Like
Yeah.
you start something, you get it going, you hire someone to do what you did, and you take over another responsibility, and then just like continuous process, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think when you're trying to grow something like really, really big, you need a lot of people.
Yeah.
And don't be shy to when you want to bring people, you got to bring people in a team. People that you trust, and you all got to work together to make the magic happen.
So how,
cool to
like,
see.
even from there, like, even back when you started it, has it surpassed what you already thought? Had you thought at first, or is it like still, did you want it to be as big as you hope it is still one day?
You know what? I knew it would be. There's a lot of ways to answer that. I think, when I started, I knew it was going to be big. I knew it was going to be really big. I remember like our first couple months, like no business makes money in the first.
Even when you say really big, what's that, like Canada wide, or is that like
I knew
North America, or you're like?
I knew we would. I incorporated the business as Live Fit North America Inc. And like knowing that one day,
okay,
that like because I wanted to think big, and did I really know it was going to go North America wide? Like I felt it.
But it was still within the like realm of your thought process.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things. It's like I don't know how I'm going to get in day one. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to take step by step to do it, and that's what we did. But it's interesting, right? It's like I think starting the business, I always knew it was going to be big. Had nothing to show for it though. And I think that's like the interesting thing with like a lot of entrepreneurs. You kind of see it, and like no one else might see it. But if you feel strongly about it, then you should 100% go into it.
So you just had that from the like.
I saw it. I literally was so excited about it. Like I couldn't like sleep, and I worked on it like every
there was
waking
nothing
hour.
in there like it, or you could just do it better than other people.
There was like some things kind of like it, but not quite.
It was early in its space.
It was very early.
Like
yeah,
right at the the beginning of it.
Yeah, it was right at the right at the beginning. I think like timing was on our side for sure, and like I knew we needed to run with it. You know, I didn't really like. I knew how to operate, you know, businesses and whatnot. You know, definitely more than the basic areas of running businesses, but I didn't understand like
Train that goes by literally right there. So if you hear this thing, it's like you could reach through it. And
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. Nice.
So that's the
That's where they
noise.
do the deliveries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry.
Yeah, no worries. But it's just about learning. You know, you have to be very open and don't think that you know everything, because no one does on the planet. And you know, you just have to be open to learning different things, especially with like, you know, I didn't go to biz school or none of that, right? It's just like having
That's the beauty of that, though, right? Like,
it's cool.
you figured it out. You want to start something, get the wheels turning, and then you just build off of it.
Was there points where
100%.
how many, or was there a point where you were like, oh, it's not going to work?
I don't feel like I've known you for a long time, and I don't feel like that's ever resonated off of it.
Yeah.
Off of like the Live Fit
No, yeah, I just
branding.
mean,
Like I've never
business-wise,
felt
even,
like that was
like, if-
not gonna like fly.
Yeah, even like, you know, it takes X amount of like sometimes you have to double down just to make it through a certain amount of time frame where like not like just in a way that's like, oh, you know, it's not starting up fast enough or anything like that. Like
The stress of
like, you know, like
entrepreneurship.
even
Yeah.
I'd say even the ultra successful businesses always were at a point where they're like on the brink one way or the other.
You know what, right? There's like, there can be a lot of reason. I think like when you think of a business idea traditionally, you think, hey, who's going to like this idea? But then there's a series of steps after that where it's like, okay, well, once you've a proven idea that it is good and people want it, then there's a lot of other steps after that. Okay,
Yeah.
do you know how to make sure that you're, you know, there's so many variables of like how to spend money properly,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what to invest in, right? Like how are you actually going to grow this?
Yeah.
Developing your team.
Developing a team, you know, and then what is the big goal? You know, like, do you want to keep it? Do you want to sell it? Do you want to go public? Like, what is that? And if you don't know how to take those steps, you have to, you know, bring people around you that know how to take those steps that you trust to be able to do that. And that's a whole other thing, right? Because now you're depending on people,
Yeah.
right? So I typically.
So how do you pick those people? You know what I mean? Like,
honestly?
you go with your gut. You
Are a
go with
lot
your
of them
friends.
the same as before?
Honestly, and like this is something that like school, biz school, or you know whatever school can't really teach you, but it's gut instinct, and you have to be a people person. And you know you nothing's 100%. You know, I think you get better as you go along for sure, and you make mistakes, and you know
You
sometimes
get reps. You get reps in it.
yeah, like sometimes you trust the wrong people, and then all of a sudden, hopefully, you don't get hurt that bad from it.
Do you find you learned that from the previous businesses enough to make it not a huge issue in your current business?
For sure. Yeah. I think business in general is a journey of like, even going back to like when you're born, like, I think, like your experiences is what make you wiser as you go along. Right. So you have to be exposed to certain things to learn how not to do them again. And like, unfortunately, a lot of entrepreneurs go and you have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
But fortunately, when learning the hard way teaches you the most, right? So you take that, and hopefully it's not a lesson that will derail you completely. But I mean, I hear a lot of successful entrepreneurs who have been derailed completely rebound, and their attitude is, you know what, I've done it once, and I'm going to show everybody that we're going to do it again.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of what I mean. Like, and that can just happen from
Develop a
luck of
template, work it. You got your failures, you have your successes, take it to the next step.
Yep.
Boom, 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 build up.
Yep, exactly. And it's a process, right?
On your reps of like being around people, your interpersonal like communication skill set develops as you have more interaction with different people, not just different people, but different people on different levels, because you know people on different levels all communicate differently, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
100%.
So you get reps in those different realms, and I'm sure you just kind of feel your way through it, right?
For sure, 100%.
Instinctively.
Yeah, 100%. And there's, you know, and then you get to a level where, you know, you want to do really, really, kind of like massive ideas, and you know, you're around people who are incredibly
Imagination.
like anomaly type people where you know, they've gone to Harvard, and
So
you
what's
know,
yours of that?
of experience wise?
No, not even. Like
Like the
what's
big dream.
Yeah, that sparked since your new
You know what?
introduction to that
It evolves.
realm of thinking.
Yeah, it evolves.
Has anything to do with what you're doing now?
Yeah, for sure. Like
Just
right
naturally, kind of.
naturally, like it evolves. You know, I wasn't like too sure exactly. I just know I wanted to grow. I just wanted to become a household name.
Yeah.
Like that was our goal, and you know, we haven't necessarily achieved that quite yet because we're not targeting everyone on the planet.
Yeah.
You know, we're just trying to have and also like to spend your marketing dollars properly. You got to be sniper accurate and target the people who are going to be your best customers.
Very strategic.
Yeah, like and also just make sure you're not, you know, just blowing money everywhere, right? Because but you know, the beautiful thing is everyone's got to eat.
Yeah.
Right. So, and with their new brand Ethy, that's targeting the average household.
So is that going like outside of now North America? It's like kind of international or world, I guess.
That's so North America. There's a lot, you know, there's a lot of wood to chop for sure.
Still,
Obviously, there's a lot of people. But you know, on the fully cooked side, we're the leaders here in Canada. You know, there's some really big players in the U.S. Nothing like us though, and I think
on terms of like your production and systems and everything.
I think
like,
like there's really big companies that do I don't want to hit them down because I think they've done a wonderful job, but you know, they do more of like a basic job, and I think like not a lot of them have like real purpose. You know, it's like, hey, I want to make a lot of meals. You know, grow this company really big.
Or intent or
real purpose, goal. Right? Yeah. It's like, what is the purpose of the root of what makes you feel good to work or be a part of this company or order from this company? It's not just the food. It's about like for us, like we've got a partnership with a worm farm in our basement.
Yeah.
And you know, all of our food scraps go into the worm farm, which makes us an actual true 0% food waste business. Amazing.
So why don't like if like why don't other like bigger guys do that kind of stuff? Because it's not in their. It doesn't. Yeah.
I think it's an interesting question. I think a lot of business people, such as, you know, especially in the finance area or whatnot,
they're all about numbers.
It's all about usually about numbers, and that's fine. Yeah. But I think like something that makes people really love an organization is real purpose and people who care inside that organization.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So you know, it's interesting, right? So that I think that's what makes us really different. We're kind of looking to, you know, save a lot of food waste, and I think that matters, right? And there's other entrepreneurs in the world that are saying, "Hey, let's get off the planet." And it's like, well, I don't think many of us can afford to get on a rocket ship and fly away right now.
That whole integrated system is like, it's pretty spectacular if you think about it, because it's all one. It just comes full circle, the whole thing, right? With the food waste.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. What you have going on. Yeah.
It's very, very, very impressive, right?
I think it's important.
It's on the forefront of, like, I would think it's innovative as fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
is it then? Do you just have?
And it's super clean. Like,
goes all over the place.
Yeah. So like the beautiful thing is with our facility, we can deliver to Los Angeles within 24 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's the opposite. That's pretty. There's nothing else further than probably that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's you know, it's a beautiful thing. You know, I think it's interesting, right? Because when you think of like, you know, it's one thing, right? It's like if you think of holistically of life, you know, you can come and be on this planet and make a lot of money, which is cool, I guess, for some people. But you can also make an impact otherwise positively, right? Yeah. And I think like people who have the ability to make an impact should, you know, because otherwise it's just like no one remembers people for being like just super. I don't know. It's kind of like if you're in a position to really like help improve society and
do you feel like
then you should.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's grown on you though? Like that feeling, you know what I mean? Like as you go through business, because like I was tied into a corporation for like the longest time. Always felt like it wasn't right. Like it just didn't feel comfortable. Like I always knew it wasn't going to be the long-term thing.
Yeah.
But it was always scared to go do my own thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just like, fuck, what is that? Like, how do you do that? Then you do it, you get out there, you rep it out once. When you rep it out once, you learn from it. You can rep the same thing out again and do it over and over and learn from it over and over and grow. You know what I mean? Like, so like, is that the whole intention with like getting everything rocking and rolling? Like,
But did you, that had to have come.
not
once
you specifically,
No.
but just in general, like for business, like that. So rep it out, build, rep it out, build, rep it out, build.
It's interesting. I think like, going back to like my younger, like, and I've worked in companies before, and it was a really good experience, but I think I just wanted to get out and like do things on my own, and did things that got me really excited. And I think like,
You feel you just needed to get that out of the way.
Like stimulation, like just.
I think maybe stimulated was probably a big part of it. Not that working for someone else is
It's not
bad,
stimulating.
but
it's stimulating.
Yeah, like
it's not your own ideas. It's not you putting what's in your head.
I think
to work.
Yeah, I think like working for someone else, I just, not to put them down or anything, but I just like kind of had my own ideas of like I wanted to implement to really like I could see them.
Yeah.
And like I was blocked from like implementing those ideas, which kind of made me felt kind of trapped. And then, you also, when you do some big things for other people, you might not also get all the rewards.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So there's nothing wrong with working for someone else, but and it just depends on who you are.
Yeah, totally. It's like, yeah, exactly. There's either a person that has to work for someone else or can't.
Yeah.
Well, it's people working for someone else's dream, or you work for your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're working for someone else's or for your own. So you get to make that decision. There are people that fit that criteria, and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But there's also the other side where people are creative and their brains work on a different level.
Yeah.
And they're very active, and that needs to be like on the forefront of like promotion. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
kids should be promoted to be innovative, creative.
I think so.
And like that definitely needs to be pumped up a lot more than what it is right now.
Yeah.
But I do think also that maybe that's where we're right in that transition too, right? Where, because you're seeing more people being more on the entrepreneurial side, like coming out with different things, being innovative on that forefront, like 100%. Like,
What's the next biggest milestone for you guys? Like,
I think, definitely going public would be,
is it just something to work towards now, or is it like what is that going to happen, or are you still?
Yeah, for sure. That's going to happen. It's all about, exponential growth, partnering with amazing companies with amazing founders and working all together to create something, bigger than big.
Yeah.
And grow all
like
together.
this stuff you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, did you ever foresee yourself being having it like that? Like, I don't know.
I had
I feel
never.
like you don't think about that shit way back when, but like now that you're there, like, I don't know how to kind of explain it, but was that in your vision?
I had never imagined myself being a publicly traded CEO.
But like even now,
sure.
like even to where you are now, probably kind of like brought the percentage of like 0 to 100 way back down. Like how many more doors just opened or like kind of reset in a new world?
I feel like we're just getting started.
Yeah, that's what I imagine it would feel like, is like resetting on just like a much completely different scale.
Yeah, I feel like we're just getting started. There's been a lot of like amazing things on our journey here, that are truly remarkable, and a lot of like experiences, and I don't care who you are, no one in business has a smooth path.
Yeah.
It's about just making those decisions every day that, kind of get you over challenges and whatnot. And
are you like in it now, or it's like, or you every once in a while you're like, what the fuck? How did it happen?
What do you mean by that? Oh, like how did we get
I'm
here?
sure just some of the shit you deal with on it. Yeah.
Like, how do we? You know what? There's been like
become a normal.
Honestly, like, it's kind of interesting, like, to say this, and not that I think that we're on like imminent death around every corner or anything, but there's like a saying from. Have you read the book The Art of War?
No, I haven't.
And it's basically like warriors who think that they may die tomorrow or thinking about their every move.
Yeah.
And, so it's like, I think that's kind of been our mentality since the start. And so we think every step very thoroughly. Should we invest in this? Should we not? Because it's about taking steps, and when you don't analyze those steps properly, you can slip. I think that if any piece of advice to give would probably be that, because no one knows exactly how things are going to go. Even when you think a good example is like, it's even like a lot of venture VC firms. It's like you can when they're trying to analyze what companies to invest in, they look at the past. And that's the only way, because you can't see forward.
Sure.
So they look at their past record, they judge the character of the founder and whatnot, and you're really betting on management's ability to make good decisions.
Sure. Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
as you go along here. So when something comes along, like COVID, for example, do I trust in the founder or the CEO's or management team's abilities to make the proper decisions to not only protect the company, but to keep growing.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what you're betting on, right?
So,
it's someone's
Well, you're only
ability
as
to
good as your
perform.
team, right?
Yeah.
So to have
Yeah,
that
exactly.
perspective, though, like going in, like if that's something you've had from the beginning, making decisions like that, did you feel like you didn't do? I don't mean to bring past businesses up, but like, did you come like if you started Live Fit as your first one, do you think you would have gone into it the same thing, or is that just who you were as a person enough to make a sound like be aware enough to have conscious decision making? Day one.
I didn't. Day one, I didn't know anything.
Like day one, business one type of thing.
No
Business
no
one.
blueprint.
Yeah.
No, there's no.
Right?
There's no blueprint.
No handbook, zero blueprint.
There's no
Just
blueprint.
fucking,
So even if,
step
like-
one,
Just get into it.
take step one.
Honestly, anyone who's trying to start a business or something, just get the fuck into it.
Yeah,
And like,
totally.
Yeah, take
and
action.
you're
Like,
gonna
just
get hit by some buses.
Yeah.
And
fucking
it's
sucks, man. There's so many times where like doing your own thing and running your own business is not like the most fun thing until it's fun.
Yeah.
And then it can suck a lot more after. Like
it can. And the thing is, the reality is that it's never ending. Right? Like there's
never
always
what, sorry?
It's never ending.
No, it's never.
So like there's always going to be challenges that come up. And like you could have a business that's I know a lot of founders personally who have businesses that are close to or north of $1 billion in value, and it doesn't change. Just because you reach $1 billion doesn't mean that your level of challenges reduces. So
I feel like it would decrease.
It does.
Like if you're the
It'd
type
be
of
like that
person that
reset,
wants to
like
dig.
that reset back to that point where it's just like a new world you're in and new
Well,
problems.
I feel like most people
Yeah.
that are like hitting different levels,
I
like
don't know. I
they're
wouldn't
just
know.
always looking to hit the next level.
Yeah.
Because not only so you talk about your team, so you're a leader, you're hitting levels, you have a team, you build your team behind you, they support you hitting other levels. They want to go. So as you go, like you're building, right? You're just fucking hitting it.
And they're different challenges that you may have not ever thought of. Like, for example, like one thing that like, even for myself that I'm like, not that like I typically, I'll never like neglect management, but when you have a management team that's 25 people, right? And under them, there's a ton of people.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's when you're out and you're, spending more time with investors and whatnot. And then you can't spend as much time with management
At home.
And then, so like, it's one of those things where it's, nothing is is intentional. Right. But
you feel like you get different energy from those people, like if you're not spending as much time at home with that person and spending more time with the investors, do you get a different vibe coming off people?
like more of like a negative vibe.
Yeah. Like
I think
like
if-
why are you neglecting us type thing? Like
I think it's, even if it's not said, probably the thoughts are there.
yeah.
but I'm sure like what it's reasonable expectations that would be there.
It is.
too. It's
And
like-
I think when you have,
I'm asking the
No,
question because I 100% know it. people think like that, right?
Like if you have really good relationships with people, I think, trust is really at the core of everything, right? So it's like I trust that Nick just has a lot, that's going on, and he's trying to go spear whales for the company, and I feel that with everybody on our team.
If everyone's for the better, it's not like you're telling them you're there 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, and then you're fucked off all the time.
Well, I mean, again, the bigger things get, like the bigger your company gets, like the more responsibilities you take on, the more stretched you get, and then the less you're around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
as your
maybe not, but depending
I
what
think for
type
most
of,
people that's the case.
What your priorities are too.
It depends on the business, but I'd agree with that. And it depends on the size of the business and what type and.
But again, if you're looking to scale this thing, you're looking to take it from here to here to here. Again, now your time is going from here to here to here. Do you know what I mean? Because you have more and more and more responsibilities to take care of.
Has most of your top people been there since the beginning?
You know what?
Top means
I love your team, man. You guys got
but I feel like it has been there's been teams added to the teams, I'm sure, and stuff. But is there a core that's been there forever, or is that?
You know what? I think a lot has been there since the very start.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that has to do with trust.
Yeah, that's ultimately right.
Because and we've hired people. That we haven't been able to build trust with.
Yeah,
and sometimes it doesn't fit with culture and that kind of stuff. But your people around you though will tell you first.
I get it. Trust me.
They'll tell you first. They'll be like, "Hey, listen," and they'll all say it separately, and they'll say, "Hey, I don't know about this person, right?" And that's inevitable when you're growing a large business. It's gonna happen.
You're not pulling wins 100% of the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even with the people that
that's business though in general, right?
Hey, this is completely switches. I've been meaning to tell you this. You remember when what was that supplement company? Maybe you can't even say it. I was in your house for when I first moved to London.
Oh my gosh!
Fucking BMW.
What's funny? A lot of people remember that. In my mind, it was such a small part, but it was. What was it?
But for me, it was because I had just moved to London, and then I must have ran in. I don't know, somewhere.
Yeah.
And then
I remember delivering you supplements. I remember specifically delivering you $50 worth of supplements.
Really? And then I remember
that.
I remember every single time. I lived on Mill probably then.
It was Mill. It was Mill.
Right at the
end of Mill. Yeah.
In that apartment there?
The little 4 high rise.
In the basement?
No. You know where
it was at the
frat house is?
Yeah, across from the frat house.
Yeah.
I remember.
You know where they're doing all the construction right now? They're putting up that
on the basement floor.
Yes, it was on the floor. It was right on the. It was like basement though. It was
gray
ground
building
level.
Or white kind of.
It was gray level, but it was on a ground level. But
just
and then
down
I remember,
from the bar there.
Yeah. And then I remember every single time I go to Masonville and turn right because I think you were right close to Masonville, right?
Yeah.
I remember and it's funny because I'm sure this if you were to sit down at a table with the guys or the people from Live, I'm sure it's just. Yeah. Some of the same people sitting down at some of the same tables.
Yeah.
So it's it's such a the memory that ties me back to you is such a deep rooted entrepreneurial memory that's hilarious.
I think I must have been 20 or something.
Well, I must have been fucking
Well,
I met you
18
in 2012. I met you.
Yeah. 100%.
Years ago.
Yeah, it would have been right after because I came a little bit before you. Yeah, right. Yeah, I was.
It was. What was it? It was. I remember the time I was dating a girl whose stepdad was selling this stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and
probably it was one.
I remember you had to. It was one of these MLM kind of things.
Yeah.
And they're hey, you have to buy in for $500.
Yeah.
But you get $1,000 worth of product, which is really not true. And then you go and you sell the product. And I remember I got a $50 check from them, and I was like, cool.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna work though because I get $50 a month from them. It's kind of funny. Yeah. It was never
it was
never one of those things where I thought a lot of people going into those things think they're gonna be billionaires.
No way, really?
Unfortunately,
They're just naive.
Yeah, this is not it's unfortunate that those companies did succeed for a long time.
But that's just funny. I've been meaning to bring that
what's
up.
Traveling
That is
been
funny,
like? What's traveling been like? Is it fucking hard to get around, or is it easy?
No, easy. Yeah, it's been good.
Is most of it for fun?
No, not at all. Like
I'm asking because I want to travel. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah,
is it easy to get around, or is it a pain in the dick? You know?
I think like a lot of
Like depending what kind of paperwork
just,
you're rocking,
like,
Jimmy.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
it
yeah.
hard to get around, or is it easy to navigate?
definitely depends on where you go for sure. A lot of it isn't like
All the places you go, you can walk right in.
100%. One hundo.
I think
They don't
like
have border patrol there.
Not yet.
I think you know, a lot of like stuff that I do is like
Easier.
no, it's like it's fine to travel, but it's like business is life. Like there's no separation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I'll if like in a
Listen, you can do business from anywhere in the world.
yeah, you can
You
now
can do
usually.
business from anywhere, and everyone fucking knows that.
Yeah, but
Right.
does
So-
it get tired?
Oh yeah.
Like, because if
Yeah.
you can't relax when you're sitting
Dude,
on a beach,
you're never
I mean,
fucking
like,
relaxed when you're on the road. You're never relaxed. Even if you're working abroad, you're not. You don't get to relax. You only get to relax in your home.
yeah,
like,
but I
that's
still
what I
wouldn't
truly
mind
feel.
figuring that out for myself rather than not.
Man.
Like, it's. I mean, meaning like you'd still not take the travel, or
Well,
like
like I
someone
Travel
who
is nice.
for someone
Travel
who
is
constantly
awesome.
go.
It gives you some type of therapeutic effect if maybe you live in a cold country and you go away for a week. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know what? Like if you're traveling and you're working, like
Does it
maybe
become
you
a
get to
hassle?
fucking benefit from it.
it depends. Like I typically won't travel to a place unless if it's like for business reasons. I'm not like the type of like I do love traveling just at this stage of my life.
Double down on your time.
Yeah, like I
You
just
can work while you're traveling. Then
Yeah,
why not?
I think that's the thing, and I'll meet people like who are involved in the business.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with that.
in the
You
travels.
can fucking work from anywhere. So
Yeah,
dude, would you work from London?
Yeah.
If you could, or would you work from Mexico if you could?
yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? That's not like
And like this,
a
for
tough
example,
decision
it's
to
like
make.
I'll be
People are
behind.
gonna make 100%.
I'll be behind my laptop for like 12 hours a day at least, and then someone's like, "Hey, I want to have like let's meet and we'll talk some
and
whatever
don't
talk
fucking hate
business."
if you're working from the patio of your fucking sweet room. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
It's about
people are doing that.
yeah, it's definitely about like what is it called? Like productivity. So
Yeah,
if
you
you're
just
productive and
gotta
you
be
travel,
on top of it.
then do it. But it depends what you like too. Like I'm not really like the type of person that likes to sit on a beach, but you know, but I love food.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like a lot of like, let's say someone says, "Hey, I want to meet and talk business,"
Yeah.
then I'll say, "Okay, let's go for dinner."
Yeah.
You
that's
know,
where, like that. Those are the kind of spots that majority of business is fucking handled.
yeah, 100%.
So like
when you're eating
if
good
you,
food
if you think
and
like business is handled in an office, like the majority of like new age business is, you know where it's happening. It's happening fucking
well, I think
where
like,
people are comfortable and it's like a safe place and it's like
Yeah.
people are happy to be there to do the business. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
people
I
have to
get
be
it.
having like, you know what I mean? Like life, like, you know, I think it should be exciting at all points.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can make business exciting at all points, then do it.
Two things. How many of these do you do? Like how many like actual like how many like sit downs do you do about like interviewing you? Much?
Yeah, a lot. Like
I bet right now.
right now, yeah, like I've done 3 in the past week.
Really?
Give or
Is
take.
it
Does it get
basically like
annoying, or
is it more or less
like a
just this shit?
fucking-
Like
rehearsal?
does this feel a little different?
You
than-
know what? This is more of like a chill conversation, which I prefer for
Yeah.
sure.
But even then, I don't even. That's like we just don't even. I'm
like
sure you
people
do.
will typically like email me like a list of questions to be like
Yeah.
privy on, and then they'll be like ask kind of like the classic questions like, so you know, I don't know, it's, and they're fine,
Yeah.
you know, but I'd rather prefer drinks and hang out.
Yeah. Do you have a like Ethy or Live Fit podcast?
Not internally, no.
What do you externally?
Like yeah, like there'll be like say Inc. or like I did an entrepreneur.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
like the magazine.
So you don't want to
Entrepreneur.
have an in-house one, or like do you,
Like
feel like that could
we
be,
thought about
like-
it. It could be really cool. It could be really cool. It depends on like the purpose though, right?
yeah,
It's
like I'm saying like to go to the whole like planet kind of like better for the Earth type of like
It could be really cool.
discussion wise.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think there'd be a lot of value in it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you have an audience,
Yeah,
and it's like inform, like people
Yeah.
enjoy it. Then.
yeah, exactly. And we've got a lot of customers, right? A lot of people watching. You know, the new Ethy Instagram, I think has like 700,000 people.
Yeah, like even one to just like be yeah. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
feel it's
For sure.
a lot to like open door for a lot.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think it's useful, you know, for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it's easy. I mean, even for me, it's just like pure fun. I mean, as long
Yeah.
as like people can come in and like be comfortable, then it'll just keep going. But obviously for you guys, it's more of like a tool than
Yeah.
it is for me. But
100%.
yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like I don't even. What else? You got anything else cool going on outside of business?
Yeah,
Like
Like,
shit that
this
you
is-
wouldn't
don't-
talk about as
don't-
far as like interview wise. Like I don't want it to even even
You
since
know
I
what?
said that I don't even want to.
I'll share like something. Like it's really cool actually.
I got another question for you after this. Remind me
Cool.
of this too.
We created an enzyme with a lab
Yeah.
that is able to eat plastic. Yeah,
That's pretty
so
sick.
we've been working on that for a while now. But the enzyme can actually eat plastic. You know, we hold on to the commercial
Is it
rights.
something that's been going for a while?
Yeah, yeah. So from our knowledge, we're the first in the world to actually do something like that.
Really?
Yeah,
So is that just something you're just like
casually,
sitting on?
kind of. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, right now. Yeah. Can I? Yeah. Maybe. What do you want? A scotch?
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. This one, it's too sugar. Which one's like which one? If that red one is that red bottle.
Sure. Let's get it done.
Yeah. So what? You're just sitting on that?
Yeah, we're getting ready. We'll probably get some investors for that. Do some more research.
Do you ever?
And then we'll
you
probably
kinda,
bring that public, too.
Low key chirp them. Would you ever work with Elon? Or no?
There was a really big point where like I really admired him. I really admire like his almost everything about him actually. To be honest,
don't
no,
care.
I'm okay. Yeah, but you know, I think like there's a lot
I
of
don't have anything for tips though.
I think there's a lot of work to be done. Like I don't think we should like think of like, hey, like let's just leave the planet. Like, you know, like no one can leave the planet. Let's be serious. So
Yeah.
it's just
So
kinda
what?
like-
So he kind of has a few notches down with that. How much he puts into that?
what do you mean by
far as,
notches
like,
done?
I don't know. Like you kind of said that you reluctant something about him. Like there's something. that
I think like
something
you know,
is-
maybe some of his comments are more directed towards like PR to drive revenue in his company rather than like actual, like achievable tasks. Like I think, sorry, I worded that properly. I think like you can definitely go to Mars and like populate Mars, but I mean, is that something that's,
Yeah,
you know, like what happens to the rest of us on the
We ain't
planet?
going to Mars.
No one's going to Mars.
So
like
kind of that-
maybe like point zero zero zero
Me
zero.
and you are not
Did
going
you
to
see
Yeah,
the-
maybe
We're
him
not going
and
there.
maybe him and Jeff Bezos, but like that's probably
Well,
it.
and you
Once he's in
maybe.
a sleep
Nah,
with
wait,
another
Wait,
body,
what do you
he's a
mean?
fucking
So this is
100
my
years
next
older.
question. Did you watch the thing on Netflix about it's called Inspiration 4?
I haven't seen it.
So it's
no.
basically like
You told me
that
about
first
it.
Oh,
flight.
maybe actually.
It's like where the 4 pillars.
I did see. I think I did see that.
Like I guess my answer would be everyone's answer is relative there, but like
Cheers, boys.
cheers.
That's good
Would
stuff.
you? Would you? If it was like if it was like 50 grand to go to the moon, would you go?
Why not?
I say 50 because that's like for most people probably that's a hard no. But like so then I'm like it's all relative. That's why I say it's all relative to
I
like
feel like it's
like
just
10 grand. Like
why? Like
what? So
I think it'd be like really cool.
it would be super cool.
Like
but,
I definitely like to say like, hey, I've done that, but just for the experience, I don't think my life would change.
But
by
even
doing it.
No, but even seeing that documentary, like seeing that thing and what its visuals are and everything like that, and just get the raw experience you would be from that being there.
Yeah.
Like,
You just go to the
would you
moon
pay
by
$5
taking
grand?
mushrooms.
Yeah,
$5 grand. You'd be going like.
I'd pay $5. You know, I'd do it.
$5 to go to the moon?
I'd pay
100%.
I'd pay 50 grand.
But it's
you know,
not.
Yeah,
like a
see, so
fucking-
now, like,
it's not,
would
it's
you-
not 50 million.
No, but
You
like,
know what
would
I
you
mean? Like,
pay?
it's-
Like, would I? Like, there's everyone has their. For me,
I guess
it'd
it's
be-
relative to where you're at. You know what I mean? Like,
That's kind of why I asked the
maybe
question.
you've
'Cause-
hit so many highs, you've made so much fucking money, you've done so much crazy shit that's just the next step. Like,
Oh, but-
I'm gonna spend $50 million and I'm going to the fucking moon.
yeah.
Well, 50 million,
going to-
yeah.
whatever it
There's
is,
a
like-
small group of people that would probably do that just for the
I think there'd be more than.
fuck of it.
I think you'd be surprised at how many people would probably spend money to do it.
So, do you think you'll go to the moon in your lifetime?
Do you? I guess the question would be, do you want to go to the moon?
Well, if it costs,
I mean,
if
if you
eventually it
could-
costs 10 grand,
If you could, would you go to the moon in your lifetime?
I mean, a good analogy for the business. Yes.
yeah,
You know, but I
but
you
like
know
if today it costs 100 million, and in 30 years it costs 10 grand or 5 grand, or it is like
it's
just
all
a,
relative to the time that you're living in.
That's
right?
what I mean.
Because
That's like
where the money is at.
So I
what's
think
the
it's a
money
hard
worth?
yes that I'm going to be eventually in the moon on the
I
moon.
think why wouldn't you want to take a fucking trip?
yeah, we'll sit on the moon and we'll have some scotch and we'll start a podcast up there.
Whatever.
Has anyone seen the movie Moonfall yet?
No, is it wild? I've seen the
watched
moon though.
Moonfall. It's actually
Moonfall.
pretty decent.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's with Chris Pratt.
Oh, really?
It's like oh fuck. Yeah, it's if you're into like
why
kind
I
of
didn't-
sci-fi-ish.
Have
like,
us tell us a bit.
if you're into
little bit about it.
sci-fi, you'll like it because it's like the moon is a mega structure that was developed by aliens to find other planets that were, that could sustain their life.
Huh.
And an AI digs into it.
Sounds like
and
something
starts
Elon will
tunneling
be
it,
figuring
and it
out.
changes the orbit and it starts to fuck with the Earth. And now everyone on Earth is starting to fucking panic and make adjustments to try and stop it. It's actually fucking really good. If you're into fucking sci-fi, you'll like it. 100%.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
I watched
cool.
it the other night and I was like, this is probably gonna be shit. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch all of this movie tonight. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Nice.
gonna dig in. Yeah. Pretty sweet.
What else? I don't even want. Yeah. So what were you talking about?
Going to the moon.
Go to the moon. I guess I was gonna ask something else other than that too.
I don't know, man. What else is going on? Other kind of fun stuff is happening right now.
Big topic. Russia and Ukraine.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like. I
Don't
don't.
put too much energy into that shit. Like,
I don't
'cause
watch
again,
the
like
news.
it's like what, like where do you pick up your information? Are you picking up your information from your phone, like what's populating your feed, or are you actually like putting time into researching what's actually going on? Or are you watching?
Are you
the
someone
news?
that's on the news all day figuring
Dude.
it out?
No, I'm not. I'm like
You don't have time to watch TV.
no, I don't really watch too much TV.
Or even more like
even
feel
though
obligated to know.
I love movies. I think like I'm definitely like one of my big nerd things though is war history.
Oh yeah.
Like
okay, so this is
like
relevant
ever
to
since
you
I'm a
then,
kid.
though.
Yeah, ever since I was a kid. I just found a lot of
Who
things that
writes
kind of
history
fascinating.
though?
The winning war.
The victor.
Yeah, the winning army.
guys know more
The
than me.
Yeah.
victor writes history.
Well, like even right now, like what's going on, it's obviously the Western countries are saying one thing, and Russia and is saying another thing to its
Sure.
population, right? But yeah, it's too bad. I think
Have
no
you ever
one.
been to Russia?
No, I've never been to Russia.
I know someone that's been to Russia. Dewey.
Really?
They have a good time.
I know he was young. His dad told me.
Well, you can't really
"Fucking
talk
kid's
about
been
it.
everywhere.
Mother
He's been to
Russia."
St. Petersburg, Russia. I'm like, dude, you remember being in St. Petersburg, Russia? He's like, I don't fucking remember that shit. I was
Yeah.
so young. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because after after World War II, there's definitely a rush to grow their economy and their system. Between a lot of other countries neighboring, and that's kind of what's been conflicting ever since. That like at the core of it, right? It's two different systems that just don't work with each other.
Yeah.
So like, and growth needs to happen. In these different economies to be able
Friction
to.
happens.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. There's two things that I fucking don't like talking about. religion and politics.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of good friends.
Those are two deep
that were
combos.
like, I got a lot of close friends that are religious and very heavily into politics, and we are like so tight because we established our relationship on we will not talk about religion and we will not talk about politics to each other.
That's why.
Legit.
Yeah.
And like we were like on like the opposite ends of things. Like we don't follow each other's Instagram feeds. We don't deal with each other like that. But when we're like in each other's presence, we're on. Like we're very, very, very good friends. And it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
But it's like a true fucking relationship.
yeah.
It's like a true friendship. Like so it's they're out there, man.
Do you go to many Knights games?
Knights games? I used to.
Because there's one tonight, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a lot of
Everyone's
cars
parking
out there. Yeah, I haven't been to a Knights game for a while, but I like to go. I haven't been to a Knights game actually. I think
got a
since
good vibe going on.
We just went to
Fuck.
Disney on Ice last weekend. That was pretty wild.
That's got to be the best
cool.
place to play hockey.
There?
Like for the London Knights, if you're playing in the OHL, like that's the place you want to play.
Wait, was Disney on Ice here?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's here every year.
Really?
Exotics new
It's what
girl
I mean, really.
used to skate for Disney
You
on
feel
Ice.
I saw why is that some it wasn't
No,
like,
I thought it was like a Florida, like a Florida Disney. Like
oh
at
no,
Disney.
it's here. Jade used to go.
That's really cool.
And then we took
Yeah, they
Taylor,
ramp
and she was
around
loving
everywhere.
it.
Nice. You know what I've always wanted to go to, but I never have? Cirque du
Cirque du
Soleil.
Soleil.
I haven't either, but
I've never done it.
I definitely will. Like, would really?
I've always
seen
wanted
one.
to.
That'd be sweet.
Oh, I got a
Actually,
great story about Cirque du Soleil. Oh my
I
god!
feel like there was one here, and I was supposed to go, and I didn't go. We didn't go for some crazy reason. Not COVID, but
I saw Cirque du
so
Soleil
you were hanging
when I was
upside down
living
on the jungle bars in one
in
of the
Windsor.
shows
in Windsor.
at the casino.
What's that?
Nothing.
No. Cirque du Soleil, Joe Louis Arena. It's probably like, I don't know,
Joe Louis Arena.
in Detroit. Fucking maybe like, I don't know, when was I in college? Like when you were working at Good Life.
Yeah. I don't fucking know
Would
years.
that be 2002,
No idea.
maybe 2003?
Sure.
My girlfriend got me Cirque du Soleil tickets for my birthday. So she comes and picks me up. She picks me up. I eat a bunch of mushrooms before she picks me up. So we're going to hit the tunnel, right? So she picks me up. I get in her fucking Jeep Cherokee. We take off. We get down here on Church. She runs out of gas.
You're like, there's gas in
Okay.
here. I'm not tripping.
She runs out of gas. So now I'm pushing her Jeep Cherokee. So I've eaten these things. We're taking off. This is going to be awesome. Fucking runs out of gas. So now I'm pushing her fucking truck down Huron Church.
Yeah, Huron
Fucking
Church.
Get into a gas station. We get gas. So we get into the tunnel. We get stuck in the tunnel with traffic. Well, all of a sudden, you know, it's on. Like, so I'm in this Jeep Cherokee in a tunnel underwater, going to a
losing
Cirque du
your mind.
Soleil with this thing, and I got to take a piss.
Oh,
So it's like, what do you do? It's like, I could just like hold in, get there, watch a show. We go through the whole thing, watch a show. It's fucking phenomenal. So long story short, Cirque du Soleil is the fucking shit.
No,
It's
yeah,
wild.
I've never been.
100%. Like, it's fucking
you know what?
unbelievable.
What I really appreciate is like the amount of like time it took someone to perfect what they do in that.
Yeah.
And like
I was even watching that. I was wondering how much
they're like 50 feet in the air.
Yeah.
No,
with-
they're
without
like,
any
they're
safety
like
gear.
the best
Yeah.
of the best
Oh, that, yeah,
athletes
yeah.
in the
100,
world.
100 feet in some cases.
But I was wondering at even Disney on Ice, like, are these people like making bank
Probably
touring doing
not.
this, or
Probably
no? Is
not.
it like a passion thing?
It's a passion thing, I'm guessing.
Because it's like
I don't-
we
yeah, I
were
don't
there
know.
on Saturday at 5:00, and they
don't
had
think
been
they're
going
making bank,
like
man.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So
Yeah.
that would have been. I was thinking, I was like, I wonder if this is a subpar performance because it's the last
It's a
show
question
of the
to ask
weekend.
Exotic's
basically.
girlfriend because she worked for them.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I wonder,
So
yeah,
she
we
would
can
know.
find out why she stopped.
I think it's like probably like one of those things that you travel with it, right? So there's travel involved.
Probably couldn't do it for too long.
Yeah, it's like
Well,
a cruise
travel,
ship.
so you're
Like
always on the
5
road.
years.
You're always on the
Yeah.
go. Like you're not living anywhere on
Yeah.
the road. Like road life is like not for everyone.
Yeah, it
You know what
depends
I
on who
mean?
you
Like,
are, and
100%. Like I did road life with hockey. Oh, fuck. When I was in Windsor for 2 years straight, we were on the road Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the States playing hockey. I loved it.
yeah,
Obviously, it was awesome. Like
yeah.
we're going to like college towns, university towns. Coach would let us rage after the games. We like obviously we just, like we get to go everywhere. So it's not like you're playing for one school and you're there all the time. We got to see all the schools, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was fucking sick.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it's not for everyone. Like living on a bus or like traveling all the time and
Yeah.
not being home, like it wears on you. You know, like when you walk into your house, like after you've been away for a while, you're just like, oh,
yeah.
it just
Yeah.
feels good, you know, like inside.
Yeah. But yeah, and you have, some people have like routines and whatnot at home.
Yeah, totally.
You know,
I think
or-
it's
Well, when your routine goes to shit when you're not at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my routine goes to shit the
no,
minute
naturally.
like I'm not
unless your routine
at
becomes not being
home,
in
like,
routine.
that's stable environment. You know what I mean? Where I have like complete control over what's going on, and I know like where things are gonna go. That's easy. When it's like you're on the fly and like it's like, oh well, I'm not gonna know when I'm gonna eat next, or like I'm here, I'm there, I don't have this, I don't like that. It's like that's where you're like have to run the audible over and over and over, and that's taxing. That's like it's not the most optimal thing to be doing all the time. Do you know what I mean? To always have
For
to
sure.
be like running on that fucking program.
Yeah, for sure. Well, even when I was just away, right? It's like you have to kind of, like, it was great, spending time with people over dinners and stuff. But, a dinner might go on an hour longer than
Yeah, it's
anticipated,
probably
right?
exhausting
But, like,
at
even
the
if
end
you
of the
think of,
day.
like, a percentage, right? Like, if I lose 10% of my productivity,
Yeah.
10%, it adds up.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Especially if you've got an never-ending list of
Yeah.
things, right?
So how does that get managed? You know what I mean? Like
Just on
how do you
you.
prioritize things?
You just have
Learn
to,
from mistakes of going to whatever, not
Yeah.
putting a priority to the right thing.
I think you just always have to, like, optimize.
Maturing and stuff.
Yeah, you just kind of optimize, and pick what really matters.
Once the dust settles, you probably figure out what matters.
Yeah,
and
there's-
what,
Yeah. It's ebb and flow.
yeah,
It comes
yeah,
in,
yeah.
Yeah, just get in the flow and flow with it.
Yeah.
There's so much time. Like there's often times where I feel like I'm being like super unproductive. I'm not doing anything with my time. But that someone asks me like, "What have you done today?" And I'm like, "This, and this." They're like, "Holy fuck!" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, I guess I did do something today." Even
Yeah.
though in my brain I'm like, I feel like I haven't really done much. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
I sit back and analyze it, but I don't know. I think that's like the entrepreneurial mindset. It's like your brain's like a fucking hamster on a wheel, and it's like
You got any like
Fucking
other
next.
weird on
Fetishes?
businesses? Any weird businesses like out completely different from what you're in now that you would eventually want to be
like that I'm a
in?
part of,
Maybe that you've become a part of that, like
or just like ideas,
more like of a personal interest
Or
like
stuff you
thing.
wanna get
yeah,
into?
stuff that's like
but like the enzyme.
yeah, but I feel like does that go with hand in hand with like, or do you see that as a project completely outside of like, because
what'd you say? The enzyme?
yeah,
Enzyme?
Enzyme, yeah.
Oh, the enzyme.
Yeah, enzyme.
Oh, the enzyme.
Yeah, enzyme.
I know what you're talking about.
but even like outside of that, like, or yeah, I guess that.
Yeah, I think like I'm involved with a number of things. I think like
Do
probably
you do
like
it by
14 things.
personal interest type of thing though, or is it all kind of like what fits in nice
Yeah.
with the
Or
portfolio?
do you have someone guiding that?
I have people that for sure are involved. I think like
I would hope like at this level you have
yeah,
some help.
yeah, for sure. Like especially with like Ethy and LiveFit, like we have a management team, an advisory team of probably 25 people.
So like my
like
weird question is like, yeah, okay. So say you brought this idea to those guys, they'd be like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You're not opening that. You're not going to start building tables or something." Like, I mean, like a weird hobby that you can now put like.
they're set.
The answer could be no.
Yeah,
you know,
like
not
they're
really.
So the team on Ethy and LiveFit is separate from my other stuff.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I think like I'm at the core of all this is just like people, right? And I think
Yeah.
I resonate a lot with people who are in my shoes or who were in my shoes when I started. And So I like to support, you know, when I can, especially if it's a good idea. Like the idea has to be good.
Yeah.
You know, for it to actually.
Does that happen often? Because
I'm in like 14,
really?
maybe 14 or 15 different things, give or take. So I do invest.
Oh, cool.
As well.
I like that.
Yeah, I do. I think like that's what makes me at the core of everything is like people, purpose. You know, business is great. I mean, like I love business. I don't really look at business as like, even though like we're creating like shareholder value and increasing that and whatnot. It's like our purpose and probably people that get me excited. And you know, especially like even going to the facility today, like I walk by like 3 or 4 people that have been there for like 7 years, 6.5 years, right? And I'm like, wow, I'm like, you've been through this with me.
For them now.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Like, and there's like livelihoods involved.
They depend on you. Like, they're only as
and vice
successful
versa,
as you are.
you know, to some extent. Like, like you kind of depend on each other.
Yeah, 100%. You know, without them, like,
the worst thing you could do is have to replace one of the guys that have been there the longest.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure, like
100%.
But or do you replace one of the guys that have been there the longest because you've developed them into a leadership role where they've developed their own business?
Wow.
Yeah.
And that takes you to another level.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
Right? That's super cool. Imagine taking your best boy and carrying, like not carrying him, but bringing him for the ride.
Everyone
and then
wins.
seeing him come up with an idea of his own.
Yeah.
And then you're able to support that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
this is where Jimmy has an idea.
It's like when you think about...
you're going to support me, right?
when you think about these things, right? It's like a company is just a company. Like it's actually just a title.
It's
right. But
title.
what is an actual company? Like really is people.
Yeah.
And it's relationships.
The people that are making it fucking...
Yeah. It's all relationships, right? It's like, hey, I know you. So, you know, this is what...
Yeah.
You know, you make a deal with each other and say, hey, you know, I'd like you to run our marketing or whatever. And you're like, great, you know, let's fucking go.
For sure.
And, you know, if you go along with our relationship, because relationships are friendships, right? And if you go along and
friendships.
Yeah, they develop into friendships.
And, you know,
and if you take that and
business
you become, you level up in your career and whatnot, then it's like, you know, I'm generally happy, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I mean, like if the marketing department, you know, gets killed because someone leaves. But I mean, like, if you have that really good relationship, then they should take care and have someone succeed them.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the important thing about growing a really big business is having like real relationships. And
I think those are the two things that'll come from running a super solid business. You'll have super solid relationships with your people, and you'll see people develop into bigger people than they are, you know, more than what, maybe sometimes like more than what they even imagined. You know what I mean? Like maybe they came into this like expecting like just to be this person, and all of a sudden get experience repping it out, following someone's lead, and then all of a sudden they're like, bing, and it's like, you know what I mean? You give them their trajectory. Yeah, you know what I mean on that level.
Yeah, 100%.
100% see that.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Yeah.
And there's got to be no more satisfying thing than seeing someone you actually care about fucking succeed.
For sure.
Like there's nothing more satisfying than that. There can't be. There really can't be. Like making money is one thing, but like seeing someone do well that you actually give a shit about, like you know what that feels like if you've seen it.
Every
like,
time,
you know what I mean? Like it's like it makes you feel good. It almost like makes you want to push behind it. You know what I mean? Give it more energy, like get behind it, like 100%.
Yeah. 100%.
Nice. What else? You got anything else? You got anything? Not that you...
Yeah, I got a lot of questions.
Do you?
Yep.
All right.
Just millions thrown through my mind right now.
What's your perfect day look like?
Did I see that?
I've been thinking about that since you asked me it last time.
I think
like wake up till bed.
No, because you asked me this question on 100%. You asked me this question, and I've like asked a few people with reference to you. Like,
you know what? Like
I think on it, and no, ask Jimmy. Like you know, like
life doesn't have to be like super complicated. You know, I think it doesn't have to be super complicated. It's actually very simple. A lot of people overcomplicate it. I think, you know, what a perfect day in life looks like for me. You know, but that will change.
Yeah, so like, but
Depending
it's
on
still
where-
a bigger picture than what most people would perceive it to be at first. Like, you know, I was like, my perfect day right now: wake up, have no, you know, like my hour to hour, day to day, as if I would be here.
I think
it was
that's
more
you
of a,
giving that answer without like taking a deep breath and thinking about it.
well,
You know
in
what I mean?
terms
It's like
of
a
like,
knee jerk, kind of like this is what my day looks like.
yeah, kind of
It's like here's the thing.
like
Like
the aspiration day type of thing.
it's
like,
interesting because it's like, you know, when I started the company, I'd probably say, you know, I want to see Live Fit in everyone's house in the world or something like that. And I'm with amazing people around me. And that really hasn't changed, but it has evolved. But I think like understanding all the, you know, on a kind of on a different level of like, it's going to sound like really like maybe bizarre, but you know, like, and this isn't I'm not the only one who's thought or said this, but it's like the plant, like the sun at some point is going to implode, and everything that we've ever created is going
It's gonna be gone.
to die, right? And so anything that we do leave on this planet is going to be forgotten. So I think, and that sounds like really depressing. That's not my point.
It's not, but that's reality.
But I think that's like reality. So when you think about it that way, then you might think that, you know, what does a perfect day look like? That should be today, right? And you kind of think about like, now every step that you take should feel really good and be around people that should be great with you and whatnot. And I think it's important to deliberately make decisions, how you spend your time, and you know,
100%.
make sure that every day is great. You know, I think by the time, you know, I'm on my deathbed in a positive way, because like everyone dies eventually,
Yeah.
but like I just want to, you know, kind of look back and be like, you know what, I'm so tired of having great days that like
Yeah.
I'm ready to
I'm
sleep.
so tired of
I'm ready to sleep now, you
and
know?
having a great
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And you control your time. That's
Yeah.
you decide what
It's a
to
choice
do with your time.
It's
Is
a
that
choice.
like
You
having-
can say I'm fucking doing this today, or I'm not doing this today, or I'm going here, or I'm going there. Like it's
Is that something
100% a controllable variable of your own.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of people, and it's not so much a bad thing, but it's like you might follow a system that someone else has created for you. And I think like it's not a bad
Working
thing
for the man.
It's like not a bad thing, but it's like working 9 to 5 might be something that like doesn't get you really excited. And I think like at the core of everything, I think you should do what gets you excited.
Is that something you ask yourself, like that you're conscious of all the time, in terms of like, by the sounds of it, like if you were having a shitty day or like reflecting for whatever particular reason, is that something that like you instantly go back to, is like that train of thought, like, or do you not think of that on a day-to-day basis?
I'll tell you something, and maybe we may or not post this because I don't talk about it publicly, but a little bit of a deeper discussion or story. But when I was 18, I was at I won't get into details, but I got in a serious situation where I ended up breaking 7 places in my face.
Yeah.
I had lost my vision in my left eye, and I couldn't speak properly for probably about 2 years.
Yeah.
And I had to relearn how to like speak, and that's why I stutter and sometimes and I talk the way I do.
I wouldn't know.
Well, it's not noticeable.
I don't like really, you know, but it's one of those things where like
You worked at it.
I'm very like positive
Yeah,
and very resilient as a person. I have a bit of PTSD from it, not in such a negative way, but like I haven't
Well,
forgotten.
it's trauma.
Yeah.
It's trauma.
It's trauma.
You know, but not trauma. It doesn't have to be like a scary thing.
You can deal with your
Right?
trauma, or you can
Yeah, and I
or you can like
it's made me who I am. You know, but I do think about like what I'm going to do every day. You know,
really naturally. 'Cause of
I do
certain things
now.
that have
Yeah.
happened,
Well, because I think I had to work so hard to learn everything again.
so how many people?
So that's something that like, you know, I had like a couple of years where I was like pretty fucked
yeah,
up.
for sure.
Right. Like I was a little bit of a different person. You know, and I failed school because of it.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't think I was get to do anything.
Yeah.
Right. So like and it's one of those things, which is, I think there's two ways of motivating people is, you have this goal, right? Where you want to achieve. And then you also have like a fire underneath you. And I think my fire just happened to be very big, for a long time. So, and then it hasn't left me. So like when I achieve goals, I feel like I'm not.
Yeah.
And that can go either way.
Yeah.
People can do one of two things with that. You know what I mean?
How many people?
Yeah. And I was fortunate enough to rebound. And that's why I also I feel a lot for people who are in similar situations, or even just even starting a business, because business is not like a, smooth, thing in the park, right? Like it can be vicious sometimes.
Especially if you have something that
vicious.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing fun about it.
And you're going to meet some shitty people.
Fun about starting your own business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to eat shit.
Yeah.
100% of the time. I don't know anyone who hasn't eaten shit starting businesses.
100%.
How many people do you ask? Do you ask that question often?
What
does your perfect day look like?
I think it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people answer it in the way that you would not expect?
I think people are probably think.
How many people are you caught off guard by their answer in terms of like it resonating with you?
I think that kind of how I think a lot of people kind of sit and resonate with it over time.
Yeah, right.
And I think.
And it did. I asked this question because I've asked this question probably literally 10 different times to 10 different people, and it's and I, preface it with the exact same way.
Well, I'm happy that it meant something.
And even more for my reason of asking, like how many people don't how many people are right at that answer where they're like already thinking. So not that it's so introspective, but
but if you think about
how many people are you like, oh, you got it.
Yeah,
because it's not necessarily
and I've heard this consistently with a lot of probably very notable entrepreneurs that a lot of them have had a lot of adversity in a lot of situations. Not all of them, but some of them have, and I think it's what drives them in a lot of cases. So I think for myself, I think that I like to ask these questions because I think it matters. Mm-hmm. I'd rather talk about things that matter than, what the weather is and what doesn't, you know what I mean?
So were you being sarcastic? Do you have other questions?
Oh, other questions?
Not to interrupt, but I was like, I want to know if you actually had a lot of, because the stuff that you ask is I don't know, thoughtful, or is it just...
Yeah, I'll definitely think of.
Don't group me in a thoughtless question category.
I don't mean but it's very I just don't want it to seem because I'm sure you do have a lot of these conversations / more than this interviews, but I don't, it's something that I didn't want to it to feel necessary.
I think growth just takes time, right? Through your 20s, your 30s, things happen that you would never expect, and you grow off that, and you develop off that, and if you're around the right people, then your growth factor is exponential.
I think I think growth is phenomenal. I think, what does growth mean to people, and that might be monetary wise, or it might be personal wise, where you're trying to just achieve how to be, a better public speaker,
sure.
Or what does growth mean, to you? Is growth something that you really want?
Spiritual
growth, I learning more, that kind of stuff. I think even for myself is what I find really kind of fascinating is when you kind of go down to when you're a baby, right? You're taught, and this is, I might sound a little nutty for saying this, but it's
probably
very pragmatic it's very pragmatic and true.
It's probably word for word what I go.
Well, think and you hear stories of a baby was lost in a dog pen in Russia or something, and then the baby learns how to be a dog, right? But when you kind of think of it, when you think of that for a minute, you think that when you're a baby, you are fed some sort of experience and you learn from it, right? And you become something. You keep building on top of that. So when you even and that applies to like entrepreneurship and life in general, is that if you haven't been through an experience before, negative or positive, you can't learn from it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So that's why it is a never ending game in entrepreneurship of you can be fed a certain experience and it might kill you.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't, but it will, if it doesn't kill you, and you have to be resilient because you can learn a lot from it.
Yeah.
And I think
blueprint the same.
Yeah.
No one's knows
it's
the same.
And just because someone has a home run once doesn't mean they're going to get it again.
Yep.
And I've learned that a lot by, just by some people who, have been very successful 20 years ago, but they're a little,
nothing's happened. Yeah.
Nothing's happened since.
Yeah.
Right. But, and they've decided to pick that path. They didn't need to learn anymore because their goal in life is to become wealthy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I guess it's what.
But it's
your perfect day looks like, and then
it's interesting, like even like emotion wise or like understanding why people do things. I think I find like really fascinating. So it's like even this might sound like really graphic, right? But when let's say in the wild, a bunch of wolves go and attack a cow, and they kill the cow, right? And we're watching this together, pretend it's a very traumatizing experience, right? But we've learned that as a traumatizing experience.
Yeah.
We've learned that is a negative thing, right? But in a lot of cases, that can be a positive thing.
It's part of the ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's part of the ecosystem. They need to eat, but
that's how it all turns over.
But the interesting thing is when you think a little deeper, is that that's just the way it is. There actually is no emotion, really.
Yeah.
We have learned to be.
They don't have emotion.
Negative, positive, and it's like it's kind of interesting when you start thinking about it, right?
Instinct, yeah.
So even
it's like eat or die.
Mother Nature.
Even in business, it's like you might have a big win, but like for us to perceive that as negative or positive, it's the way that we've been trained to learn that as negative or positive, right? Even like the monetary system in general, right? So it's like. It's just like really kind of trippy, but it's kind of cool. Then you think about it on that level.
Yeah, and how it is just like how we've trained ourselves to be or react to any certain
we're all
situation.
programmed to a certain degree.
Yeah.
We're programmed from generation to generation as to what we're subjected to, what we've experienced, and like.
Yeah, and this crosses like a line of like, not like conspiracies, but like. In a sense of even like this, for example, it's like people get married, which is great. There's nothing. I have absolutely nothing against it, but it's like proven fact that like diamonds, the engagement ring was developed by a company, the De Beers company, and they wanted to figure out a way to sell diamonds to women, or the girls who could buy
became
it.
The thing.
So then they're like, oh well, if you love your wife or whatever, you're gonna get them a diamond. Right, and it's been adapted and carried through time.
Yeah. They had a narrative. They had to play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no one knows that it's like a business decision that someone made that is now a common business.
I mean,
it's a full blown business.
It'd be silly to think there was just
the actual value of it
behind
it.
Do
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really like when you start thinking about it, right? And you start thinking, if you think that way about like everything that's happened, like. Throughout the past 200 years, especially with businesses and what they've successfully been able to adapt.
Intent behind them and manipulate and whatever it is. I mean,
it is what it
comes down to I guess what their end objective is. 9 times out of 10, almost 10 times out of 10.
I mean, like
it's
when
growth driven.
Growth driven. Yeah, I think so. But it's a lot to do with our economy and our system of people trying to reach profitability in companies and stuff like that and drive growth in companies. So it's not like it. I wouldn't perceive it as a negative thing.
Not necessarily.
It's kind of fascinating to understand like where things start.
Yeah.
Are we gonna keep this going? Because I gotta take a piss and grab another beer.
I gotta take a piss too.
Yeah, no, close it down and we'll. Yeah.
Do you want to keep it going or do you want to shut it off?
I'm good. What do you think? Got anything else?
Yeah. No, whatever. Like we can just chill. Whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter.
Flip it off.